Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to DGTV. My name is Derek Graham, writer, author, illustrator, owner of Be Good Publishing. In this video, right, I want to touch on a couple of things that I started talking about in the previous video. But before I get to that, I want to share something with you. I told you I write poems, letters to God, and I come out in the morning, spend time with him, and I recite them. He told me it was okay for me to share this one in particular with you. And it's kind of about one of our first conversations. I was feeling weak until I found my foundation. God is my rock and his house is what I pray in. On my knees praise him and I choose to hate Satan. These lame, they forsake him. So if you a pig, I'll make him bacon. They threw me in the dungeon all alone without a woman. I felt the end coming till the Father said something. He said, pick me up, read, be what you can be. Let the people see the change in you is because of me. I fill you with the spirit, then you speak and let them hear it. Show them that the change, you ain't the same and they can hear it. Forgive my transgressions and all my inequities. I praise Lord, have faith, live in longevity. I let the dead bury dead. If you alive, live righteous. All my words are real, they come to life when I scribe it. 40 days, 40 nights, no food, not one bite. Just praying to the Savior, let me live beyond life. Talking to the merciful, Father, hear my words to you. No one on this earth can do what the Father's words can do. Spiritual miracles never cease, now I'm free. Since 99, like 90 times, them brothers tried to bury me. But I'm here, right? Alright, let's take it inside, man. We're gonna go unpack this love thing, right? Before I tackle that, right, I want to share a story with you real quick. I want to show you something. Right? Once upon a time, right, there was this guy. And this dude, right, his dream was to hit the lottery, right? He really wanted to hit the lottery. He felt that if he hit the lottery, right, it would solve all of his problems. So what he did, he kept praying and praying and praying, right? He kept praying and praying and praying that he'd hit the lottery. So one day God answered him. And God said, okay, you've been good. You're a good servant. You can hit the lottery. So this dude got real happy, real ecstatic, real. You know, he believed it. He lived in the promise, right? So what he did was, every day he kept waiting to hit the lottery, but he never did. So after a while, he lost faith in God. He stopped praying. He stopped believing. He got a 9-to-5 job. He worked it until he died, right? When he died, right, he got to the gate, Peter was there. So Peter says, you know, Peter's all happy, you made it to heaven. Hey, how you doing, man? Welcome. The dude wasn't trying to hear that. He was tight. He said, nah, man, forget that shit, yo. Nah, man. Nah. He said, yo, man, where's God? I want to talk to God, man. So Peter brought him to God. God said, he welcomed him. He said, hey, my son, you made it. Happy to see you. Wait till you see all the things I got up here for you. Right? So then dude was still mad. All the anger and hate that he had, he brought over to the other side with him. Right? And he projected all of that to God. And he said, God, I swore, and I heard you tell me, right, that I was going to hit the lottery. But God said to the dude, right, he said, you heard correct. I did tell you was going to hit the lottery, right? So then, the dude, right, he gets even more mad. He's like, so why you telling me I'm going to hit the lottery, right? But don't let me hit the lottery, man. I thought you was unable to lie, man. saying, why would you forsake me like that? Right? So then God said, I didn't forsake you. I love you. Right? So then the dude said, well, if you love me so much, right? Why didn't I get the promise? And God said, son, you never hit the lottery because you never bought the ticket. Right? So, the lesson in that, right, is that a lot of times we hear God, right? We hear the promise, right? But we don't put the work in. A lot of times we believe, right, that what God has for us is going to fall into our lap, and it's not. I had to learn that the hard way too, right? So check it. I told y'all before about my beginning, but I left out some stuff, so I want to catch you up, right? So when I was 25 years old, I went to a club with some people I used to be friends with, right? At the club, when the club let out, we ended up getting into something with some other brother, right? And it was like this big old brawl. In this brawl, I ended up getting stabbed. I stabbed 3 times, right here, right? And I died from that. You know, so I don't even know who took me to the hospital, rushed me to the hospital. Boom, boom, boom. I get to the hospital, right? And it's so crazy because before they brought me into like the operating room, some of the people that I went there with was in the operating room, right? And they had tears in their eyes and stuff like that, right? And because you know I don't know what's wrong with me, but when I seen that, right, I can only think of a Menace to Society, right? When Kane got shot, right? So I was there laying on the gurney or whatever, and I seen them all crying and stuff, right? I said, y'all crying like some bees, right? And I start laughing, right? I can hear you, stay up, Kane. So right after that, I went into cardiac arrest. Boom. And I died, right? So I was gone, they told me, for like maybe a minute and a half. And when this happened, right, it was just all white. It was just like a big old white piece of paper. It was just white, right? And I sat in that space, I guess what seemed like forever, before I felt this pain. And the pain was small at first. Then it got larger and larger and larger, right? And then I popped back up. They had stuck a tube into my lung because it had collapsed, sucked the blood out, brought me back. After that, right, everything was different. I didn't have no dreams for like a year. It was like really, 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 really crazy. And I felt different. Like nothing seemed real no more, right? So I was having a hard time being who I used to be after that. I felt different. It's like I was like battling myself. So it's like who I used to be was fighting with who I'm supposed to be, you know? And that type of imbalance caused a lot of friction in my life because I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing, right? After that, I had like a lot of devastation, a lot of loss, right? It drove me to drinking. I drank way too much. Drinking destroyed a lot of things in my life. Destroyed me for a minute, until I realized something, you know, but I'll get to that. So after that, after I got stabbed and started drinking and stuff, right, I had a devastating loss in my life, something I didn't expect to happen. It was very, very, very challenging. You know what I mean? So that sent me into a dark place. So right after that, everything just started crumbling. I got locked up again was away from my babies, and I was alone, right? So then, that's where we fast forward to jail and all these things I told you about. See, I found that Bible in that cell, right? I told you they brought the book card. What I left out, right, when I got into the cell, because this is a high ceiling too, right? But it was really, really high in the ceiling, in the cell, because I had to go, I went upstate and they put me in the hole. And I was in the hole for like 3 months, right? But at the top of the cell I was in the hole, right? It real big. It says, stop letting people down. Right? I had to stare at this every day. Stop letting people down. Right? So I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what am I letting down, man? You know what I'm saying? Because for a long time, I didn't think nobody needed me. Nobody cared about me. So what we talking about? Who I'm letting down? Right? So that led me to start reading the Bible. That's all I had. And I was writing with God and all of that, right? And then he started talking to me. Right? He said, I sent you down there to do something. And you're doing everything else. It's time to do what I sent you to do. He directed my attention again. Stop letting people down. Right? So boom. I got out. I got my son back. And we went into a family shelter. It's there. I started doing all my work in books and things of that nature, right? So I started reading and learning about things about myself, about love. I wanted different, right? So what I did, I started listening. This is where a lot of you light workers and stuff come in, man. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Because I done spent many days just listening to y'all, you know, uplifting me. And I appreciate it. Actually, before I even forget, man, because these people are great, man. They help you out too, right? So, for like motivation, I be listening to Eric Thomas. You gotta be a beast. Love that brother. I listen to Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale taught me why some people make it and why some people don't. You know? Les Brown. It ain't over till I win, baby. Trennis Henderson. Y'all really gotta check him out, man. Star Seeds. Trennis is great, man. He's really good. You gotta check his channel out. Joel Osteen. I like that brother. There's a guy named Art Williams, right? And he has a Just Do It speech that'll set you on fire. You really gotta check that out. This other brother, Miles Monroe, he is the bomb. He actually passed away, rest in peace. Miles Monroe's real good. Joyce Myers, that sister's the bomb. I listen to Vicky Dillon. I love her, man. Go on today. She's hilarious. I love her, man. Very intelligent woman. Dr. Boyce Watkins. I really admire that gentleman, man, because he got himself to a place, but he ain't forgot about us. You know? Grandmaster Jay, I love him too, man. He's yeah, I like him. And Jim Rome. There's a whole lot of them, right? But those people, you check them out, man, you'd be pleasantly surprised. I like to read, so I started reading everything, right? So I got Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. You know, I recommend this. A lot of these I pulled these 4 out, right? Because these are the ones I reread a lot. So I got the Think and Grow Rich, that's the bomb. It's a little thick, but it's worth the read. This is Law of Success, Napoleon Hill, right? The Secret, I know y'all hip to that, that's the bomb. But one book I realized a lot of people don't be hip to, man. This thing right here is magic. You gotta read this. It's called The Game of Life, How to Play It, by Florence Scovel. She wrote it back like 1920 or something like that. This particular book is 5 of her books in one. But this thing right here changed your life. I swear. Right? So anyway, so I'm working on myself. Then I started getting the ideas. I told you about the books. Right? Come on. So this right here is the carnival. So what I did was, I came up with this idea. I thought it was great, right? Make all my people orange. You know what I'm saying? come out, do something unique. And my goal was to, I was trying to people please. This is one of the things I had to learn not to do, right? I wanted to create something that nobody else would be feeling like it's not for them. You know, my whole thing was everybody can be a part of it, right? Wrong. So check it. I'm gonna tell you a story about the orange people. So when he gave me the vision, I seen the orange people, right? But the problem was I was drinking. So what I realized now, he was sending me the messages, but they was getting distorted because of my alcohol and smoking weed and things like that. So the messages wasn't coming through completely clear, but they was coming through. Right? So then he showed me to look deeper, right? To the orange people. And I realized something. Well, actually, I'll get back to that. First, I realized something with the titles of the book. And I started realizing that I was making books out of my pain, right? Every time I learned the lesson, I wrote a book about it because I wanted somebody else to benefit. And I peeped it in my titles. He's like, look. So this book here, it's called Let Go, right? And that book is all about letting go of people, places, and things no longer serve you, right? So then this book here is called I Could Be Who I Want to Be. No more fear, right? There's no ceiling. I had put a ceiling on my own self because I listen to people, right? No more of that. The day I skipped school, met Mr. Poole, right? That book is about wasting your gifts. I wanted to show the kids, man, what happens when you don't use your gifts. Next to that is you still got your mom, right? I am estranged from my family, right? So I'm not in contact with them. But that book right there, right? The spirit had told me, man, like Mother Nature is my mother, right? Then we go to We Love You Anyway. This is about making mistakes, recovering from your mistakes, and letting you know it's okay to not be perfect and make mistakes. We love you anyway. See, I thought that because of the mistakes I made, things I did, I didn't deserve it. And I wrestled with that a long, long time until I was able to forgive myself, right? Next to that one is You Still Got Your Dad, right? And that was God letting me know that he was my dad. You still got me, right? So then we go to the fortune teller. I got 3 fortune teller books, 1, 2, and 3, right? The fortune teller pretty much is telling kids, giving them a look, glance into the future about what happens when you do certain things, pick up certain habits. Hopefully they see it and you know, gravitate away from it. Then we got Be Grateful. You know, and actually that's like one of the easiest things for me. It's easy for a person that's never had nothing to be grateful for everything, right? Next to it, Be Nice. And, you know, I was real mean before. I was real mean. So I had to learn how to be nice. Then you got Race Against the Machine. Race Against the Machine is really about not letting yourself get caught up in the world. Don't let the distractions distract you. Live in your gifts, not in the machine they create around you. Right? So boom. When I learned all of that, I realized that the orange was the toxic. That was me leaving the toxic. The orange represents my toxicity and where it used to be. Right? So what he showed me is that I was able to release all of that through my pen and get it out of my system. I became the alchemist. I used it for something greater, right? I turned it into something else. Transmutation. So check it. So he also, then he told me, he's like, look a little bit deeper too. Right? He said, look a little deeper. So I'm like, all right. Else, I'm looking. And he says, they're supposed to be black. So I don't know if you remember from the last video I told you, I had got all these books pressed up, right? I never had a problem getting, right? having my orange people crushed up. Never. You know what I mean? These were like little samples that I would do to see how far along I had came. Right? So I never had a problem with that. But then I had to go get this poster copied, man, and it wouldn't go through. So like I said, I told you I'm not going to like reiterate that too much. But anyway, so then once that tower hit, right, I realized that's when he gave me the download that they were supposed to be black. And it was like, when he told me that, right? And I was like, oh. Because he showed me something else that was wrong with me. I was brainwashed, like a lot of us, right? Into thinking that black ain't what it is. Black is everything. Right? Yeah, it is. So check it. I realized that what I thought was me trying to make it for everybody was me not loving on black. So if you look at the characters, right? Check it out. Look at the characters. These people don't look black, right? They don't look like black people. So then I realized that's when it really kicked into me about being part of something greater than yourself, right? So from then on, it was my mission, right, to add my little square to the big black quilt of the universe, right? So my first book I published, right, was Run Tell Someone, and that really didn't work out the way I wanted it to. It's a great book, but I didn't know what I was doing. You know, an opportunity came up and I jumped on it. I wrote the book probably 3 days, drew it, everything, the whole book. I did the whole thing probably like 3-4 days at the most. And I published it. So what happened was they charged too much for the book. Right? I was a new author. Nobody gonna pay for that. And not for nothing, right? And I can admit it wasn't as good as I thought it was at the time. I didn't realize that till I grew more, learned more, and my skills got sharper. So I had abandoned it and left it alone. And I just chose to keep going forward and learn a lesson from that. So what happened was maybe, I was at the beginning of the year, all of a sudden all these people started calling me about that book. Right? And I was like, yo. And I realized that was God bringing it back to my attention. So what I did was, I revised it. I did the revision of it. Right? And now I'm actually actively about to do the republishing. Well, come on, let me show you some of the pictures from inside of the book. Right, so what I did was I made my characters black. This is the new guy here. This is Brock. This is the new Run Tell, some little man with his little dress. Right? So what I do for each book, see, this is pages from the coloring book. Every book I make a coloring book for the book. It's my hope that kids like the pictures and want to color it for themselves, you know? So that is how I do that. And these are, you know, these pages, the new ones. It's going to be coming soon. After I did this and came to that conclusion, right? I was gonna start really loving on black and doing things for black people, right? And being my best version of me. He told me, you still got all these books, just make them black, right? So I did that. I want to show you something. This book right here, I want to touch on the love I was talking about. This is Princess Mia. Right? It's Princess Mia. This is her right here. This is her book.